quick did you knows. I like to do a little quick did you knows. Our brain makes 10 to the 16th calculations per second. 10 to the 16th calculations. What my goal is, what is my fifth goal for this class? So Zev understands why I even bring these little things up. You have a further appreciation for the wonder of the human species. And that you are bitching. You're really bitching. You're much more bitching than you realize. And your brain can think 10 to the 16th, make calculations per second. That's bitching. What's my other one for the day? So there's about 100 billion neurons, each with about 10,000 possible connections. So there's more possible connections than the total number of atoms in the observable universe. Okay, let's review. A little bit more about childhood. We were talking about childhood as a really unique state, dominated mostly by the overfrontal lobe, magic mind, right? Really different state. That's why they believe in Santa Claus. It makes total sense. It would not make sense not to believe in Santa Claus. By the way, a footnote. When I say I could be wrong about anything I told you, including what I just told you, I could be wrong, this pen might not fall, and I really mean it. What part of my brain am I using when I'm saying that? I could be wrong. What part of the brain?
Prefrontal.
Correct. That's the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part that says, I could be wrong. It's the part that talks about possiblies. Orbital magic mind deals in certainties. Even if it's vague, even if it's just a feeling, just a gut feeling, but you're certain about it. As soon as you go, well, I'm not sure, I could be wrong, that's prefrontal cortex. That's important to know. Because it means when you're in that other brain, you're in a certitude. And that can be wonderful and can be problematic.
Is that like when kiddos get scared at night because they're convinced it's a monster in the closet, not a sleeve of your sweater?
Very, very good. And one of the things that happens at night and also early morning is prefrontal cortex is going offline. So is the dorsolateral. Remember, dorsolateral makes decisions about social appropriateness and all of that. That's why, and it is what dissolves in alcohol. And that's why you dance on tables in restaurants. When that prefrontal, it also goes offline. So your rational logic mind is going bye-bye. Lousy time to argue with your partner. Don't get into big discussions late at night of that sort, because you're missing the conductor. This is the music, this is the iPod. These are the notes, this is the staff that holds the notes. Also early in the morning. Not fully online. Not a good time to get into an argument. But it's also an enormously creative time, right? That's why deep at night you're writing those poems. You're creating those symphonies. That's why kids in dream states don't live by all those rules of logic mind. Of course Santa Claus exists. Doesn't matter, he couldn't possibly travel 25,000, hit 13 billion home. I mean, there's no logic to that. But that's all very differentiated. The other's global. But it's possible in ways, novel ways, thinking outside the box ways. Okay? So that's important, a different state. Let me give you some other little quotes. So, a little pumpkin of mine I was working with just loved this concept. He looked at me and he said, he was talking about a kid that was really bad in his play. He said, this little kid's really bad. He went to heaven and he stole the halos from angels. Wow! How can you, I mean, that's such a cool way to think of something. I just love that. Here's another one. I just love it. I have seashells and whatnot in my office. So he says, hang on, I got a call. And you can see the ocean. I have an incredible good fortune. I've been looking at the ocean most all times. It's right there in front of my office. The sunset session, when the sun is setting, I don't have to stay at work, because I don't face it. The clients do. That's the adult ones. They're probably just like, shh, wow. And if it wasn't unethical, I should have a really fine Chardonnay and a great brie. And a little violin. It's unbelievable. So this kid picks up the seashell, says, hang on. Ocean, You've got to straighten out. Wait, I've got another call coming in. It's a different way of experiencing the world. So Sharon is Joe McGoldrick, my best friend's wife. We'll be hearing about Sharon from time to time. When she was a little pumpkin, she went to Catholic school. Condolences. My wife went to Catholic. And no offense to any Catholic, please. I mean, you can write me a note, oh, you're bigoted. I apologize. Not trying to pick. It's just, for some people, that experience wasn't exactly child-centered. Well, it wasn't a child-centered experience for sure. Sharon, I call her Sharoonies, but anyway, incredible cook, by the way. So what did she do? She had a little green gnome, and she would take it with her in her pocket to school every day, and it comforted her. I have a client, and I had his permission. In fact, he wants me to tell you this. He's a teacher. He's a marvelous guy. He got a, what do you call this? Rubber balls with a bunch of little things that stick out, but they're soft. I forgot what they're called. Cush ball, that's what they're called. Okay? He's teaching 5th graders. The Cush ball is named Bob. They love Bob. Bob watches over them. They take turns getting to have Bob beside them. Especially if they're having a test and they're anxious, Bob can be there to help them. They can take Bob home. They can even take him on a trip. They earn rewards and whatnot. They will pay to be able to have Bob with them. Okay? You were all that way. You all had that magic child. And you loved that little teddy or whatever. It felt real to you. It's amazing how much that is. I remember riding on a suitcase, a horse, in the motel. I was 28. No. It's all context. I was probably 9 or 8. It felt very real to me. I remember playing with a little white horse about this big, and I felt I was a Navajo on the New Mexico plains. That's how I experienced that. That's how it was. I wasn't psychotic. I knew that really wasn't what I was doing. But when you go down there and you're doing that, I am there. I am on the plains in New Mexico. I am Navajo. Let me give you one other. So my dear friend Dorian was a marvelous therapist. She was a summer camp counselor. And she's at this camp, and one of the kids, and these are normal kids, one of the kids was clearly psychotic, clearly having negative audio hallucinations. So she talks to him. She's like, looks like you're hearing things. Yeah. Tells me I'm mean, tells me I'm bad, tells me I should. I'm going to help with that. So she goes to the supervisor, the head person, says, this kid's psychotic. We got to do something. So calls the parents. The parents says, no, he just has an imaginary friend. Don't do anything. The supervisor goes to the door and says it just has a magic friend. She goes, no, this kid is psychotic. You tell them I'm going to call Child Protective Services for child neglect if they don't do something. If we can't get a psychiatric consult. Okay. So they say, okay. She goes, it's the proverbial log by the lake. She sits next to him by the log, by the lake, and says, we've talked to your parents. We're going to get you help for that mean voice that's in your head. He turns to her and says, quote, thank you. I just don't know how much more these little bones can carry. Touches your heart. You're going to see the Tara tape. One of the things I do here is try to make this real. So we'll do a lot of role plays. We have real kids, and you'll see tapes of me doing therapy. Imperfect, but interesting. One of them will be Tara, latency H. There'll be a moment where I'll see her individually, then I'll see her with her mom, where she talks about going to bed at night and feeling bad, praying that she'll wake up in the morning is going to be good all day long, and then she cries. These little pumpkins carry a lot. You carried a lot when you were a little pumpkin. We had the exercise I wrote when I was a child, I would. And a lot of it's fun and nice, but there's also pain in childhood. There's also a lot of fear in childhood. And we carry a lot on our little bones. Okay? Okay. Bomb ride. What do you remember about bomb ride? We're doing review. We're still in review here. Right? Because if parenting is about having your child be the 30-year-old that you hope their best friends describe, kind, caring, sensitive, courageous, all of that. We talked about parenting qualities that related to that. We talked about bomb ride. We did some research in that regard. You can check your notes if you want. And if your amygdala is firing. Oh, actually, talk about that for a second, because that's so important. What happens when your amygdala fires? Boom! Sorry, your amygdala just fired. Oh, that was really loud for those folks. What does? Totally. Your empathic systems shut down. Not diminish. They shut down. Remember, remember, remember. Hard work. 30,000 years old. We're built for the savannah, being attacked. Remember amygdala. Fully formed 8 months in utero. Holy schnoly. Think of the implications of that. That's how important it is. So you betcha. You don't have time to go, putty cat, I see you're hungry and I look like a nice meal, eat the gazelle. Bop, slop, you're out of there. So when the amygdala fires, empathy shuts down. What else happens when the amygdala fires? Boo. Remember this? Your literal peripheral field of vision goes from about here, literally, to here. Figuratively, your emotional, attitudinal, cognitive flexibility, zhunk, narrow, really narrowed perception, very narrowed perception. The associative neural network of negativity, triple N, associative neural network of negativity fires. So all you're going to be associating to that person or whatever is negative stuff. That's why you're going to hear you never help around here. You're always late. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you see what I mean about how the right brain's definitive? It's certitude. There's no, I understand that there's traffic and sometimes it would seem like you're late. I know you're not always late, but blah, blah, blah. That's very prefrontal. I love the magic mind. Remember, one of my goals for this class is a further appreciation. But thank God for the PFC, man. It says, wait, whoa, whoa, it's not always, it's sometimes and perhaps maybes. Okay? That doesn't happen when the amygdala fires. Neural net of negativity. You get very dysregulated. You're very angry, you're very sad, upset, you're very scared. Affectually dysregulated. You then, out of all this, you will respond guaranteed in one of 5 ways at least. You will get defensive if you're feeling attacked. I didn't do that, I don't know, I'm not all... Or you will attack back, be critical back. And or you will be contemptuous, criticality and superiority. And or you will withdraw. And there's at least 2 ways to withdraw. One is, pardon me, fuck you, I'm out of here. The other is, it's a kind of withdrawal by over-conceding. Fine, we'll go to Chinese food. Fine. In fact, why don't we have Chinese food every night? Why don't we just move to China, okay? Have it your way. That's both contemptuous and avoidant. It's a whole bunch of things. It's obviously a lousy state of mind to communicate. It's a lousy, bless you twice. You can sneeze twice? A uni-sneezer. It's unique. It's a lousy way to parent. Happens all the time. As soon as your little pumpkin does woo, says something, and you're amygdalated, all that happens. So, what's Bomb Ride's first dimension factor of positive parenting? Warmth. You betcha. Love. I remember V squared. What's V squared? Thank you. And do you remember what R squared is? Because in order to have V squared, you have to have R squared. You reflexively reflect. When you reflexively reflect, and that you value and validate the child's thoughts, feelings, fantasies, reactions, all that other stuff, colloquially known as empathy, which, as we said, is the first thing that goes when your amygdala fires. You have warmth. It's the sine qua non to positive parenting, to helping your kid be that one that he, she, you would wish at age 30. Even when you're in custody, Val, I always say to them, you both want the same thing, how to get there. So obviously, by the way, when your amygdala fires, what is your task? What's your task when your amygdala fires? Oh, very good. Hug your amygdala. Thank you for remembering. Prefrontal cortex, limbic, it's the communicator between you two. Hug your amygdala. Move out of that brain state. This is so silly, I usually giggle when I do it. When I'm giggling, I'm not in my amygdala. Your task is not to communicate. Stop all communications. Hug your amygdala. 3 in, belly breathe. 5 out. You tell somebody who's amygdalating, not a word, but it's, everybody knows I made it into a verb. You tell somebody who's amygdalating, breathe. And they're probably, what are they going to say to you? Do you want to be polite or not polite? Fuck you! Because they're already there, the wave is already broken. You have to practice when you're not amygdalated so that it becomes a secondary reflex when you are. You've got to get out of that state. I told you Gottman puts little blood pressure meters on his couples, and and it's preset, I don't know what it is, 100 or whatever, and then it goes beep, 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 and he goes, stop. Now your task, he doesn't use the word de-amygdalate, but he basically says is to calm down, because you cannot effectively communicate. I would say the same thing to a parent. Stop. In fact, I did that last night. Oh God, she was amygdalating. I said, stop, you're amygdalating. It's not going to be useful communication. I'm looking at it, I actually held her. I was like, I'm like, whoa. She is so, and of course he was amygdalating. Oh my God, he's a teenager. Okay. Warmth, love, empathy. What's the next thing? It's really important. Limits. Explicated. Explicated limits. That are, what's the F word?
Fair.
Yes. So let me give you another little quick thing about the brain that's primally important. Your basic functioning of the brain is keep you alive. It's set for survival. The way it does that is through prediction. Your brain is main task, or main way it does this task of survival is to predict. The only way you knew how to sit in that chair that you sat is without even knowing it, you predicted the chair was going to be right there. If that chair was moved 1/8 of an inch, you went on, whoa. The only way I know to walk is I predict that it's going to be right there. We're predicting constantly and always. Happy birthday to every one of you said you with that tune. Every single one of you in this room. Because you already predicted where it was going to be. You're set up to predict. When something is out of what you predicted it to be, your amygdala will fire. That's why it's 8 months in utero already set up, because it's set up to tell you anytime an event happened that you didn't predict or expect to happen. Holy, whoa, pay attention to that. That wasn't the way I thought it was going to be. What? So underneath the concept of fair, it's not fair, which will drive you out of your mind when something's not fair. We talked about, you saw it on the tape, the monkeys and bananas, right? The monkeys and the grapes. It's primordial, it's primate. Underneath that is prediction. You predicted this was, the person's supposed to move because it's a green light. They're not moving. It's not fair. If you look at every time you get mad and you kind of went the step below it, you're going to say that wasn't fair, whatever just happened. And below that is because I predicted it was going to be this way. I predicted you were going to be a loyal partner and you cheated on me. What? That's so not fair. That's so bad. Know that, because kids operate like that a lot. If you're going to be really empathic, you're going to get that. And you're going to have to set, and it's really important, fair limits. And when they're not fair, what do you say? When your little pumpkin says, that's not fair, Mommy. It's not fair that I can't have this. I want it. Come on. What's the first thing out of your mouth? Now, I know your amygdala's...
Validating? I'm sorry that it's not fair. I understand it's so frustrating.
Good, so then you let me have it.
No.
Why?
It's too hot and you might burn yourself.
I don't care, it's my mouth, it's up to me.
Well, I really care about it. I really care about your mouth, so I'm going to set it over here. Do you want to play with this instead?
Oh, I see, you're trying to distract me. Doing very well. Yeah, that's what you don't say to them. You better learn early. Life's not fair, kid. Glad I taught you that lesson early, aren't you? Now I'm mad and depressed. Because depression is helpless, hopeless. Life's never going to be fair. Now I feel helpless and hopeless, and I'm depressed. Thank you very much. Up the medication. They legalized pot yet for medical marijuana? Good morning. Empathy first. I totally understand why you'd want this milkshake. Of course you want the milkshake. Oh my God, it's chocolate, probably your favorite. It seems cruel and unfair that I have it right in front of you. I apologize. First, empathize. You did a fine job, by the way. I don't mean to diss you. Empathize. And again, the problem is your amygdala fire. You won't empathize. You have to push that aside and go, wait, what are they feeling right now? And tell them it makes sense. That's what valuing and validating means. My number one goal for the class, an attitude about childhood. They're not just like mini micro adults. They're their own human spirits, and we got to validate. We got to give them the tools, the words, the labels for all that experience, all that right brain. We got to put some left on it. When you read, and do read at some point in your life, Siegel's The Whole Brain Child. He's talking about neurointegration. He doesn't use the term, but it's really neurointegrative parenting. That's really what we're doing. And what we do as therapists really is neurointegrative therapy is what I call what I do. And it sounds like, ooh. But we'll get to how that's actually what's happening. You've got to put these things, but we're their care coaches, right? Loving, responsible, respectful care of themselves, meaning of life. So let me put words for your experience. So now, I totally get why doesn't feel fair to you. I'm going to articulate it clearer than you are. I'm going to have amplified empathy for your situation. Then, what's the next thing? So I've set a limit for whatever reason. And you explain it. I know how much you want it. However, it's such a drag. It's chocolate malt, and I want you to have breakfast first. And I know that seems unfair to you, because you'd much rather have that. What's the next thing? What's number 3 then? That's exactly right. You foster autonomy within the limit, the fair limit, which has to be developmentally oriented, a different limit at age 2 than 8. And remember this 3-second gesture of pause, 1-second gesture of pause bless you twice or once, a bunch of uni sneeze. Right? Limits are expanded by your ability to do it while taking great care of yourself. Right? So what's the solution? We got to find a solution. Remember, limit is a door, put a window in it. Put the window in the door. Options. Under what circumstances would I say yes? So let's imagine it's chocolate malt, it's not a health malt for whatever reason. And he's going to have breakfast, or she. What's the fostering autonomy within the limit? What are the options? What's the window and the door? Under what conditions would you let them drink that?
Finish their breakfast.
Yeah, simple. Listen, I know it's a drag. Finish breakfast. Do I have to eat the whole thing? No, let's make a deal. How many check squares, health check squares, do you want to eat? 3. There's 30 there. Let's compromise. 15. Deal? Deal. What is that doing for that child? If you're looking at what goal you want for that kid at 30.
Teaching how negotiations go.
Absolutely. First you value and validate so they feel good about who they are, that their inexperience is, yeah, okay, I have a right to these feelings. That makes sense. Then you go, okay, life's a compromise, life's a dealing with. How do I learn the skills to do that? What about this? What about that? Cool. You gotta be fair. Foster autonomy with those options. Lateral thinking. This is where PFC comes in, actually. What's the other thing you get to do in all of this? What's 4 for bomb ride? Exactly. You get to share self. You get to have feelings. You're a person too. Honey, I love you so much. I really do. And I know just the way I preface that, you're thinking, yeah, but. Pumpkin, sweetheart, we go through this malt thing every morning. I wake up and I think, oh God, we got to do the malt thing again. I really want to come to a solution so that I'm not like Nick. I'm not blaming you. Not your problem, my problem. My problem? But I'm trying to find a solution to my problem that involves your reaction. I get to have feelings too in all this. I'm a human being. So now let's talk about the D word, discipline. Do you know that the root to the word discipline is Latin for, actually do you know? It's okay if you don't. To teach. It's about teaching. Yanon Volcani has never been punished. Not a perfect kid. I'm not a perfect parent. He's 21 now. Never been punished. Punished. Has he ever been disciplined? Really one time. I mean, he was, by the way, a good kid most of the time. He was a good kid. There were a few times. As you can well imagine, he has never been hit. I can't even begin to conceive of the concept of hitting a kid. Let me remind you of something. When you're a little pumpkin, the parent looks about like this. Feeling this? Get in your room right now! You feel your amygdala just going, wow! Oh my God. Sorry if I scared you, by the way, because I aimed right. Look at she's flushing. I apologize. Take it back. Do you want to yell back? Would that feel fair to you? Come around, go around, eye for eye, yell for yell. You can do it. You can let me have it. I apologize. You want to stand up? You want me to get low? Okay. Reciprocity is part of that really fair thing. Really true. The worst thing about my job is having to charge people for it. I really mean it. I wish to God I was a wealthy man so that I could do exactly what I'm doing, plus giving money to good causes, whatever. That'd be cool. They would still have to pay, because there's got to be reciprocity. So that it's all about you. That's what the money is for. Now you've done your thing, now it can be all about you. So what we'd be doing is writing a check to a good cause. Ku Klux Klan doesn't count. Not a good cause. Sorry, that's my value structure. But we'll come to some negotiation. You like to save the dolphins, feed the whatever. Write the check to that, and now we're taking care of reciprocity. Because the rent-a-friend phenomena that underlies you writing a check at the end of the session is really hard to get around. So reciprocity is really important. So discipline. The one time, so Duran, of course, never knew. I yelled at him one time. Here's what it was. He was about age 3. He was screaming. Screaming. It was there at morning and I was rushing around, blah, blah, blah. And he's just going, ah, ah. He wasn't like crying. He was just screaming, ah. And I finally just said, stop! He'd never seen me do anything like that. He looked at me first like, huh? And then like, ah! In which case, of course, I immediately grabbed. I am so sorry. I must have scared you so much. Pumpkin wonky. I didn't know what to do. I went primal. I'm so sorry. I just kind of went, you were screaming so loud. I was like, ah! I'm sorry, Pumpkin. Looks like you're feeling a little better now. Do you want to yell at me? You can yell at me if you want. Okay, you bet. Okay. That's it. 21 years. One time. That was it. That was it. By the way, the other time I remember I didn't yell at him, but oh my God, nature is so smart in so many ways. He is about 6 months old. He's graduated from papoose here to back here. I have the 3 big dogs that you'll hear about. We're walking, I'll never forget exactly where on Camino del Costa, and he starts screaming in my ear. The dogs are like, holy shit, get home, man. Get him to stop. Oh my God, they're like, ah. I'm like, I know. And I tried, and nothing works. We race home. Oh my God, that sound. It's unbelievable. Nature's so smart. You have got to stop that sound. He got home, he just stopped on his own. Okay, I can understand. I would never do this. I understand. Imagine a 16-year-old with 3 kids and they're all screaming. No wonder she hits them or does something horrible. You go out of your mind. 4-part protocol. Do I have to do this once? Here is my answer to discipline. First of all, I don't do timeouts. If anything, it's a time in. I need you to stop, go in, hang on. We'll learn, particularly when we get to latency, a lot of techniques for anger management and all that. But here it is. So Duran, in fact, sorry, D, you're my only kid, dude, so it all comes on you, did something not so great at his Shishi Bishop School in about 10th grade, something like that. He wanted to go out it was a Friday, he wanted to go out that night, and then there was a big dance the next day. So I did say, well, D, it's probably the closest punishment as you're going to. By the way, punishment is not in the punisher, it's in the punishee. I might say, watch Orange is the New Black. Have you seen that? I loved it. But some people might think that's, well, you got to see it. Fabulous. If you like that kind of stuff. Never mind, Homeland. Oh my God! You got to get past episode 3, though. First 3's like, it's just bipolar. Oh my God! But some people, that might be punishment. So D, here it is, man. I want you to get out a piece of paper. And I know men say 5,000 words a day, women say 30. You're not big on writing and thinking about your feelings and all that stuff. Here's number one part of the protocol. Why don't you do what you did? I want you to write down, self-reflective, not why'd you do it, but hey, let me be remember this phrase, psychoanthropologist of my own soul, and value and validate why I did what I did. Okay? Openly, warmly, self-exploratively, value yourself. 2, this one's really important. What was the impact of your actions? This is called a forced empathy exercise. What was the impact of your actions? On, and here comes the list. I don't mean just generally, I mean really specifically. So one was on your teacher. Again, this was something happened at school. He did something at school. So one was on his teacher. And I want to know in terms of, the impact in terms of how they felt, how they viewed you, how they viewed themselves in that situation. I want some exploration here. This isn't easy. It's complicated. 2, because Bishop's is this little shishi school, right? It also, he has his own advisor. Well, his advisor found out, so that impacted the advisor. And the headmaster is close enough to everybody that impacted him. So that's 3 right off the top. Well, obviously impacted his mom, Rory. That's 4 now. Impacted Yanon, his dad. That's 5. Duran, unfortunately, has a wonderful network of friends. I think I've told you, it's the tribe. And we're really close to their parents, and he's close to their parents. He impacted 19 different people from that one action. Takes a village, you're part of a village. Your actions have an impact. That's nice on the one hand. It means you're important. You're connected. It also means, holy schmoly, I have a lot of responsibility here. And the last one on the list, of course, is how to impact you. If nothing else, you have to write this fridging thing here. By the way, all bets are off until this task is done. So no, you're probably not going out tonight. So I know that's going to feel like a punishment. I was just happened to be born before you did. You accident of the universe. Sorry, I know that's not fair. So I get to tell you, not going out tonight. This needs to get done. And I really want you to not just wait through it. It's going to take you a while. So 19 different people. How did it impact them? 3. Duh. What'd you need to do differently? What'd you need to do instead of what you did? Now wait, let's get 3A. Let's get in detail here. I want you to visualize specifically doing it differently. Visualize doing it differently. I'm going to race to the last class, our last class together, some 12 weeks from now, whenever. You're going to see a videotape of what I call an inoculations group. This is when I was running that inpatient psychiatric unit for substance abusing teenagers. We'd have them bring in their bongs and all that stuff. And we'd have them practice saying no. Because they're going to go out in the world. They're going to go to a party. Hey, man, you want this doobie? That's the reality of their lives. So they better practice going, hey, no. So I have to practice it by having to imageries, seeing themselves about to use it instead, putting it away. See it again. See it again. So I want details of what do you see yourself doing instead of. Say it out loud. You know the studies about the basketball players. You know about all this? Right. As long as you know how to shoot a basket, free throw line, you're better shooting 10, imagining shooting 10, than just shooting 30 in a row. Am I making sense to you? Because here you don't make mistakes. Here you do. You're practicing the neurocircuitry of pro-social competent behavior. You go through the PFC and practicing that. Okay, so what would you do differently? Now visualize practicing or role-playing. In my office, I had one last week. Kid did a little bunk in the wall. So dad's in the office, kid's in the office. I had him get, we went through a variety of things. Why did he do all that other stuff? And I had him go past the wall, say out loud, I feel like hitting the wall, but if I do, it's going to get Paul and hit dad mad. So instead, I'll just walk by it. And he did it 3 times. You can imagine it, you can play it, but I want you to do it differently. Okay? And 4. When you offend, you need to amend. Again, reciprocity. Again, a sense of fairness. It's in the species. You give back, you make it back to being okay. Okay? 4-part protocol. Duran did get to go to the dance the next night. After that's done, we're done. I don't have to say to him, and by the way, you're grounded for a week. How does that teach him anything other than, I have more power than you? Because in a way, punishment is pain over spirit in service of power. I'm going to inflict pain on you and your spirit because I'm going to be more powerful. I understand it's actually the goal of, we're hoping that he's about to do this thing, he's going to go, oh, last time I got this bad punishment, so I won't do it. That doesn't work that way, as we know, because usually they do it anyway. Or, yeah, you've disciplined through fear. They either become, overstating it, a wuss or a rebel. Overstating it. This is, I'm your care coach, I'm your guide. I'm going to help run that neurocircuitry of pro-social behavior so that you look at who you are and how you do this. So back to that inpatient substance use group, just to give a little quick example. The group therapy room was about 4 feet lower, I guess maybe that's 5 feet, than the hospital floor. And there were stairs, 4-wheel stairs. Well, there was also a little table right here. So of course these little kangaroos would jump off the railing, jump onto the table, and jump in. Go back up to the top of the stairs and say the following out loud. I feel like jumping on the table because it'd be fun and get me in the room sooner. Why are you doing what you're doing? Perfectly valid. However, if I do, the table might break. Staff will be pissed. My parents will have to pay for it. So instead, I'll walk down the stairs. And they had to do that 3 times. These big Brunos and big, 3 times they'd have to do this. Any kid that ever did that never jumped on that table again. If nothing else, they want the humiliation of having to do this in front of their peers, never mind the pain in the ass. I said to them, I look at that little table, I kind of think, oh, it'd be kind of fun to jump on that table and jump in the room. Frankly, I don't care about the table. I care about my ankle. I don't want to sprain my ankle and then I can't surf for 2 months. That would drive me out of my mind. So instead, I'll walk down the stairs. But I'm an older guy who's been doing this little thing for a long time. You gotta practice it out loud. I tell parents, you're in the car with your pumpkin. Again, the person in front of you is not moving on the green light. Say out loud, man, I feel like just honking the horn at this guy because he's not moving. It's a green light. It's not fair. If I do, it's just gonna make me uptight and me him mad. So instead, I'll listen to the radio. Say it out loud. Model for them. Don't tell them not to do it. Tell them what to do instead and show them. Got a lot of heads going. You get this? Okay. Teach your parents that if they're willing to do that, the parents you work with, instead of punishing the child, grounding you. Okay? Okay. So then we talked about remember this? Oh God, it's getting hard to see. Let's see if we can do a different color. Domains of ownership. Okay, child, mutual parent, or adolescent, mutual parent. Okay, domains of ownership. Okay, the kitchen, living room, mutual, house, money, car, a lot of things, parents. We were talking about what goes into the child adolescence domain. What are some things you think ought to be the child's domain, their right to choose, or the adolescent's domain, their right to choose?
The room?
Okay, how they keep their room? Would you make your kid make the bed? Keep their room straight.
No, I think if I was trying to do like for my teenager that their room is their room, then maybe I wouldn't. But close the door, because I don't want to.
Okay, I told you my mom did exactly that at 13. I saw your head go, no, you wouldn't do that. Good.
I don't care about the bed.
Okay. We talked about brushing teeth. And I said, you get to choose the toothpaste, basically. But you brush your teeth. There are those who would argue, hey, it's my mouth, it's my body. Would you let your daughter have a tattoo? She is, yeah. And what's your name? I'm going to keep learning. Shameen, yes, Shameen. Mom, I want a tattoo. I want to have a tattoo. Come on, let me have a tattoo. It's just a little one. I won't tell you where it's going to go, but it's going to be really cute.
No, I'd probably give them conditions.
No, you're talking to me. I'm right here. Mom, come on, a tattoo. I'm 14. Come on, all my friends have it. My friends have tattoos. They have big ones. Radical ones, dragons and stuff like that. Hey, lady with a dragon tattoo, come on. She was cool. I'm not asking for dragon. Just a little thing. Okay, it's a butterfly. It'll be right here, just right out my bikini, just a little by my booty button. I'm going to do it anyway, so just say yes. Come on. Do you have a tat? I bet you wish you did. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you answer. Go ahead, just say yes.
When you're 18 and
You are so not cool.
and you're allowed to at the tattoo shop.
You are so not cool. I can't believe you. I thought you were such a cool mom. You're not. I'm going to tell my friends you're not. I'm going to tweet them right now. It's actually Instagram. I don't do tweets. You tweet. I Instagram. What's going on for her right now?
It's really unfair to her. It's something she really
So say that.
I know this is really unfair for you, and it seems like I'm in control right now, but
No, it doesn't seem it. You are being in, and I know I'm being in control right now. Remember the empathy. You're doing a wonderful job. So, you're trying to put a window in the door. You're saying when she's 18 and all that. Remember the empathy. Remember the empathy. Keep coming back to that. Do you know about prosody? Let me tell you about prosody. Let me show you prosody. Ready? That is not any language as far as I know, unless I'm doing tongues. Maybe it's an ancient Arabic language. Wouldn't it be cool? You understood every bit of what I was saying. Not the content, but the important message. Prosody is the feeling state that is communicated through gesture, tone, all that stuff, separate from the content. And it's more important than the content. Kids and you will attend orbital frontal lobe, right brain, to the prosody, not the... I love you very much. Oh boy, I feel so embraced. I feel so valued and validated. So watch for the prosody and respond to the prosody. I see how disappointed you are. I totally get it. It must seem so unfair to you. Amplify it. State it better than so they go, well, no, it's not that bad, Mama. Let's not overdo this. Oh, good. I'm doing my job. Okay. Well, then tell me, how is it? Well, I'm just kind of a little bummed. I'll just do it sneakily and you won't know. Why wouldn't you let her have a tattoo? Why wouldn't you let her have a tattoo? You got to explain your limit. Why? Why, Mom? Why can't I? It's my body. Why can't I have a tattoo?
because you're only 14 and you might not want it in the future, and I don't want you to have a regret about it.
How's she feeling now? What's going on in her head now as you say that? I'm not sure what, and that's okay to say that. By the way, you can always remember to say, that's a great question. I don't know exactly. It doesn't feel right to me. And I know that's not a good answer for you. I don't know. I mean, word-wise I can say, hey, you're only 14, and I know that feels like such an insult to you. you're only 14. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now I'm sounding like I'm 3. I'm sorry that I hurt your feeling when I say you're only 14. I get it. You're a fabulous 14-year-old. You're fabulous. You're wiser than me in ways, okay? So I have this ridiculous, my problem, not yours. Own the problem. By the way, it's not her problem. It is your problem. You still have a right to your problem. You still have a right to say, my problem is I have this ridiculous image of you at 85 going, oh God, I can't believe my mom let me do this tattoo at 14. Because by the time you're 85, I'm sure there's all kinds of ways, probably home remedies, to take the tattoo off. But maybe not. So I'm putting on you my fear that at 85 you're going to be like, oh God. And somebody's going to think I was a bad mom. And I love you so much. And I want you to take such good care of yourself. And I'm thinking, oh, she's not making a good choice and taking good care of herself. I know that's presumptuous, big word, ridiculous. I apologize. Still no, or whatever.
Would it ever be okay to like give them another option? So like, okay, so tattoos are permanent, but then
Yeah.
there's like pendant tattoos that
Always.
for a couple months, and like let's try this out and then see if you like it.
Perfect. Always look for the option. And give option, then say, you know, I'm always open to any option you might have. And by the way, I think we're both amygdalating right now, so this probably isn't the best time to talk about it. Let's agree to kind of disagree. Let's agree to come back to this. And remember, when you do the, okay, we'll come back to it, don't go plotting how you're going to win. That's just a boxing match, ding, and then you come back out fighting. You take a time out, move to a different brain state, because then you are going to be creative, flexible, open. PFC at its best. Well, is this option? Is that option? Is this? Here's where I'm coming from. I could be wrong. Do I want to have a tattoo? It's up to him. The only time I ever wanted to have a tattoo, Ron and I go to Hawaii every year, right, for the pipe masters and whatnot. Well, 2 years ago, I'm there. I look around, everybody's got a tat. And you know my wave on the wedding ring, right? So you know what tat I would have. And I thought, you know, I know I'm an old guy and whatnot, but it's not going to get any more wrinkled probably. So maybe I'll do my wave. And how cool would it be to have it done on the North Shore? I mean, this is kind of cool. And I thought, where would I have it though? Where would I thought, I know, maybe just right here. You can't see it, but you kind of see it like, and I would know it's there. I like that. Hey, honey, I got this idea. So I think, that's what she says, oh my God, come home now, island boy. Really? No! She wasn't very empathic and all that. I didn't. No tat. Tron wants a tat. It's his business. I'm not saying you, by the way, remember, I'm not telling you how to parent in terms of the content. I'm trying to imbibe a philosophy. Not imbibe, give to you. Imbibe is a drink. A philosophy that it's been empirically shown, again, read Samostolic, to actually relate to kids turning out the way you hope your kid turns out to be. If it doesn't feel right, you can always say, it just doesn't feel right. I'm sorry. My problem, not yours. And I understand it's your problem because you don't get to do it. I apologize, truly. You can always say that. Client comes in, 16. She's looking a little pale. Her mom drops off, leaves. See, look a little pale. She goes, yeah. I just had a tongue, one of those studs, tongue stud put in. Wow. Does your mom know about that? No. Huh. It's not very comfortable. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's very comfortable. So where'd you have it done? My friend. Your friend put that in? Yeah, she had one. She's had one for a long time, so she knew how to do it. Oh, I'm paler than you are now. Now I'm worried. I'm starting to think you need a different kind of doctor right now. I can't really swallow well. I feel like I'm not going to be able to breathe. Oh goodness. Do you have your mom's cell phone? She didn't. It was kind of pre-cell phone time, I remember. Mom didn't actually have a cell phone. So I said, look, I have no authority to get you any medical treatment, obviously, but there was a clinic. In fact, I know the guy who runs the clinic just down the street from me. I said, we're going to go over there and we're going to have him look at that and tell us what needs to happen. So cop in the car, that's how we're spending our time. That's what we did. He looked at it and said, take her back to your office, get the mom, and take her over to Scripps. Not emergency, get that out of it. Okay, well, if you're going to do the thing, then at least do it safely. Okay? Grades, what do you think? Grades, we did that last time, remember? Oh, remember we did the all F thing? I remember, here's my report card. I got all Fs. What do you say? What do you say, actually? So I come in, I have all Fs. Let's even say that I didn't do the, hidden signature. Then you say, I see, it looks like it's hard for you to, I apologize if I've made it difficult for you to be honest with me. So look, I got this D minus the rest of the Fs. Mom, what do you say? What's the cliche immediate question?
What happened?
Okay, well, the cliche question, of course, would be if your child sent it, it's okay. How do you feel about that? Yeah, I would say it. Here's my cliche question. How do you, son, since it's your life or daughter, feel about that report card? And if they say, I feel horrible, okay. I'm your Secretary of Education. You're the president, I'm the Secretary of Education. How do I help? If he says, I don't care, I can take. Again, remember Carl, Tom Rusk's son, who was all about music, not about grades. He really meant it. He didn't get all Fs, but grades were meaningless to him. Jimi Hendrix, that meant a lot to him. Learning that lick, that meant a lot to him. So we got to find out what it means to them. So let's do the other. That's the report card. The temptation is to go, oh my God, that's fantastic, honey. Because what you don't say is, what's this A minus? It's this A minus. No daughter of mine gets an A minus. Of course you don't say that. You know better. Though you're thinking it. Come on, you thought it. You kind of went, A minus? You go, the temptation is, oh my God, honey, that's so good. Actually, where are my keys? Oh, keys to the porch, babe. Yours for the day. High five. Oh, that's right, you're 14. Sorry. As soon as you're 16. What's wrong with that response? It's not a terrible response, but what's wrong with that response?
You don't know how the child feels.
Absolutely, for the first place.
You kind of reinforcing that you're loved if you get whole A's.
Every one of us have made the confusion between performance and lovability. Koala I so do love you. I always have. I always will. Parentheses. Whether you win the whatchamacallit, the Olympics, Bush Olympics, or whether you get second place, or whether you lost it, or whether you never entered it, I don't care. Love you unconditionally. That's the real warm thing in that formula. Actually, let's do this. Let's do. So you say, I obviously think that's stellar. What do you think about your report card? Because that's what matters. I don't know. I was just born with a quantum mechanics gene. I don't know. I just get it. Okay. Gym. First of all, it's easy. You suit up, you show up, you get an A. Okay? He must have taken Volcani's class. Gives everybody an A. Literature. I've been reading Proust since I was 3. I love his description of bread. 3 pages on bread. That was cool. I have not read Proust, by the way. Apparently there's this thing on bread on one of his books. Whatever class this is, history, I love it. I watch the History Channel with you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Dad, I got to tell you. I'm a klutz when it comes to pottery. I mean, I just kind of I put my heart and soul into it, and I made this bowl, and to me, it was like the universe, kind of in a cup, and I loved it. I feel proudest about my C+, because here's a formula for you. Here's a formula. Okay, so contentment, sense of yeah, I feel good about this, is perhaps maybe, a function of some talent. You gotta have some talent if you're really gonna feel content. Though in this example, I said she really didn't have a lot of talent. And talent enough, and then actually this isn't a great example for this, but it highlights certain things, because she was very self-accepting. Plus effort, you gotta put some effort into it. You got to have some kind of a product that comes out of it, and you got to have some kind of recognition about that product. Okay? So let's take Beethoven. Da 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 da. As soon as I said da da da, you already predicted da. Unbelievable talent. In my understanding, I'm no musicologist. He burned some major midnight oil. That guy even when he was deaf, he's still putting a lot of effort into it. Unbelievable product that we're still singing today. Da 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 da. Plus a lot of other ones. My understanding is he died a pauper, wasn't recognized. I dare say he wasn't content. Ah, Ludwig. Mozart. Again, not a musicologist. Perhaps even more talent than Ludi. Unbelievable. He just hears it, he plays it. Page 3. My understanding is, not a lot of effort. Just came to him. He's a vehicle for the music to come through. Great product, and he was well recognized. If he didn't put a lot of effort, he's still not content. Bless you twice. Bless you one. You're all uni sneezers. Okay. So if she, again, it doesn't fit too well, but maybe she's like, hey, you know what? I'm content enough because I don't have a lot of talent, but enough that I made this bowl that was cool. God knows I put a lot of effort into it. And you know, the teacher was stoked. The teacher came over and said, you know, you put a lot of effort in that. It's a cool bowl. Child-centered, child-directed, they decide. That's why you are going to give yourselves a grade at the end of this class. Because along with that final, I'm going to give you the student review, grading sheet thing. And you're going to circle all those little things. Now, I'm not going to shirk my job. I will still look at it, probably be kinder to you than you will be, and I will still sign it and write, put what I will do. But it's up to you. What do you think? You know better than I. Did you put some effort? Did you put, come on. You're okay. All right, you get this? Okay. Good. Are we on time? We're okay. So then I went hippie on you. And we talked about, yes, the sun and lakes. Remember this? My little 8-year-old. We all come from this sun. We are all unique lakes. When we die, we go back. So I talked about spirit, soul. I talked about the illusion of self, and I showed you that picture. It's a neurobiological necessity that we believe we have a singular self. We probably really don't, but that's okay. But we'll talk more about that. But nonetheless, we want to be valued for our spirit, our uniqueness. Okay? Okay. So when we are responded to, that's what we need to honor. So let me give you another formula. I think we'll do it this way. Highlight parenting in various ways. No, let's do it. Okay, we all carry some kind of wound. We all carry some kind of vulnerability. It's a function of a variety of things, at least. One of them is your sensitivity quotient, your SQ. Sensitivity quotient, perhaps more important than your IQ, is how sensitive you are, how amygdalate, how quickly you amygdalate. Okay? So I had 3 dogs. Seraphos the mom. And I bred her with a golden retriever. Let's see, how do I do this? And I kept 2 of the, can't bring it up here, I'll bring it up here. I kept 2 out of the 12 puppies that were born on my kitchen floor. And that was quite an experience. And have you ever seen dogs being born? They're like little water balloons. They're like little water balloons. So I keep, come on, camera roll. There are my little pupperoonies. There are my little pupperoonies. There are my little pupperoonies. Blackjack, Seraphos, and Pancake. There are my little Pancake, because the girlfriend at the time had a dream. Notice the license plate, 43 canines. Yeah, I won't deprive you. Here are my little pupperoonies. I love my little pupperoonies. 43 canines. Oh, you couldn't see the license plate there. Seraphos, very sensitive, very high IQ, or SQ. Pretty high IQ too. SQ, very high. Seraphos had 2 responses if you yell at her. I never yelled at her, but if you were, she would either pee on the ground immediately, or she would bite you. That was basically her modus operandi. Either fear or attack. Get amygdalated. Boom. By the way, she and I had to establish dominance. Good old Russ, Tom, worked with police who had police dogs. They told him how you train a dog when they deal with those dogs is they immediately, anytime the dog disobeys as a puppy, they turn him on his back and choke him lightly, but make it very clear. Seraphos didn't want to leave the beach. She was actually tugging at me. I had to get to work. I actually put her on the ground, fairly gently, put my hand around her throat and said, I know you really want to, yes, I swear to God I said that. I know you really want to stay on the beach. I know how much fun this is too, and I know how much you love tennis balls. I totally get all that. However, I have to get to work. I'm sorry I was born first and I'm bigger than you. We're going. She did. She got up and left. We only had one more incident of that, and that was it, about 3 months later. Very sensitive. Pancake, less sensitive, medium. If you want Pancake to give you the tennis ball back, Pancake, give me the ball. I know it's fun for you, but I need, come on, dude. These guys' mouths were shaped like tennis balls. Because when you take them on beaches, it's like sandpaper, it wears them down. Give me the ball. Blackjack, brightest of them. Blackjack had at least 2 credible traits. One is he could find a tennis ball anywhere within a mile radius. He just sniffs them out. The other is he can find cat shit within 2-mile radius. And usually he found the cat shit first, eat it, and then the tennis ball. In a little Carmen Gia, 4 of us. Get the idea. So, blackjack, oh my God, such a low SQ. Blackjack, give me the ball. No, blackjack, I know you want it. Okay, here, enjoy the cat shit. Enormously important to mention human functioning. I would dare say most of you in this room, if not all of you, have very high SQs. So you're sitting at the dinner table, and you are, here are the factors, by the way. One is, of course, a very reflexive, kind of volume-full response to feelings in general. You feel feelings fully. You can't help it. The worst thing to say to a high SQer is, stop being so sensitive. Oh, great, I'm sensitive now. I feel bad about being sensitive now. 2, you have a acute awareness, again, a prosody, of others' reactions to you. So when you were at that table and you were trying to get the peas on the fork, and you thought your dad just winced for a second, actually it was something in his eye, but you thought it was like, oh God, I've disappointed my dad, he hates me now, I'm horrible, I'm unlovable, I should join the Bush Olympics because I put my finger on. So when you feel fully, 2, you are very sensitive to the cues of others. 3, tend to perseverate. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, oh, no, I see that didn't recognize it anyway. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. If in yourself. If. It's high SQ. Okay? So that, of course, increases the capacity or probability of having a wound. It hurts. Sensitive. You're a snail without a shell. It's scary out in the world. Okay, come on. All right. Negative environmental factors. Obviously, there's situations out there in the world that impact you. It could be big things, like an alcoholic parent, like being abused. Those are huge negative factors that create tremendous wounds, particularly if you are very sensitive. See how these augment each other? But it can be a little thing. So way before texting and emails and Instagrams and Facebooks and all of that, I attended La Jolla High School. I was finally kind of in the in crowd by the senior year because I got to be a good enough surfer. Blah, blah, blah. The hierarchy in La Jolla High was all based for the guys anyway, and how well you surfed. Blue tennies were in. Low-riding blue tennies. If you're a good surfer, you got to wear them. I finally qualified. I got on went down, Mom got me a J.C. Penney's, a blue pair of tennies, the right color, blah, blah, blah. I come to school, I look around, nobody's wearing blue tennies. Holy schnoly, nobody gave me the notice. All of a sudden, that day, they're not in anymore. All the cool surfers were back to the black Keds ones. I have never wanted to get a pair of shoes off of my feet ever so quickly. I was humiliated. Okay? Maybe that's one of the reasons I don't wear shoes any chance I get. It's that internal, I doubt it, but anyway. So it could be a little thing like that. You had curly hair, you wanted straight hair, you had straight hair, you were wide, you wanted to be thin, you were thin, you wanted to be... Endless ways we torment ourselves in these negative environmental factors. Okay? One of the most primal feelings of all is this. What feeling is that?
Shame.
You betcha. You betcha. I'll tell you this right now. Anytime somebody moves to all human communications on one level do one of three things. Either bring us closer, the same. The fact that I stand up makes us farther apart than if I sit down with you. Now I'm closer. See that? Feel that? All human communications do one of those things. If you move towards somebody and are rejected, you immediately feel shame. And be aware of that. When you reject others, which we all do at some moment, the littlest thing, they'll feel shame. If there is no rapprochement after, they will feel humiliation. That's huge. That's huge. Remember that. So move towards, and you reject, shame. You don't fix that, humiliation. Huge. Oh, let's do PS actually. Parent stuff. Well, parent stuff obviously is a subset of negative environments in some ways. Let me tell you, I'm going to explain something to you that I want you to really hear. I want you to remember this, because it's again one of those really fundamental things. Is the blue light still on? Yes, really fundamental things of human functioning. It's called shifting. Listen closely. Shifting is creating in others our own inner states. Shifting is creating in others our own inner states. Okay? Projecting is seeing in others, to various degrees of accuracy or inaccuracy, our inner states. I know you're mad, admit it. Come on, you're mad. And you're not mad at all. I'm mad, I'm projecting it on you and misperceiving. That's classic projection. That's different than shifting. Shifting is, you're not mad. I am mad. I behave in a way so that I have taken my anger and now, boom, you feel my anger. That's shifting. All human relationships involve shifting, creating in others our own inner states. Should I do this one first? Yeah, couples therapy. Let's see, I'll be her. Traditional couples therapy. This is happening right now throughout the world. I really love him. I'm glad we have this many therapists because we need a lot of help. I really love him. I feel so alone in this relationship. I feel unheard. I feel unseen. I really love you, but I feel so alone in this relationship. Oh, God. I hear you feel alone in this relationship. I don't know what, shirt off the back, okay? I work really hard. The lifestyle costs us. You want to stay home, be a stay-at-home mom, blah, 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 blah. Costs us a lot of money. I work my ass off. I come home, yes, I like to tune out to the computer, TV, a little porn. I mean, come on. You get the picture? Get the picture. Yeah, this is happening throughout the world. He plays with his golf buddies, blah, 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 blah. A lot of amygdalation happening. You're going to get amygdalated because they shifted. By the way, know this. What gets shifted is the orbital frontal, right brain, not the left brain. Prefrontal cortex doesn't get shifted. Those are just ideas we exchange. Right brain states, right brain, big stuff. What should we call this guy besides the jerk? No, that's not nice. Bob, Harry, I don't care where we're going. Doug? We're going to call him Doug. Did you have a Doug in your life? It's okay. You don't have to share. You have a boundary. There's boundaries. You never have to answer anything I ask, by the way. In case I didn't tell you that. You never. Doug. Man, boy. I can feel your frustration, dude. Never mind your pain. I totally get it. So, by the way, you do a little more warm-up, but you get there fairly quickly. Psychologists, we get to ask really, really weird questions, okay? So prepare for a weird question. So I hear her saying that she feels, well, you heard her say, alone in this relationship, an unseen, unheard, that kind of thing. So here we go, and I could be wrong. Sometime in your life, where you felt, kind of unheard, unseen, alone. Maybe it was like way back, or I don't know. Talk to us for a second. My dad worked a lot. Yeah, I know you guys like to talk about dads and moms, but he did. He worked a lot. So I remember I'd stand by the window and I'd wait for him to come home. And I remember when his car would pull up and I'd be so excited. And we had one of those garages, and he'd come in the garage, and then he'd come through, and then he'd walk right to that big stuffed chair, and I'd be like waiting like a little golden retriever puppy for him, and he would just be reading the paper, and I felt so unheard and unseen. And she gets up, oh, honey! Now there's the man I married. The shift. His inner state onto her. Let me give you another one. Yanon Volcani is sound asleep. It's 3:04 a.m. in the morning. Dorsolateral, prefrontal, offline. Magic mind, full blown. Ring, ring, ring. Yep, it was the old-fashioned ring, ring, ring. I think they call them landlines. Way before your time. Pick it up. Hello. This is they call them operators. This is the operator. Is this Dr. Volcani? Yes, it is. I have a collect call from Lucy in Sacramento. I had that thing where I can't remember names. Lucy in Sacramento. Okay, will you accept the charges, sir? Yeah, sure. Hi, Dr. Volcani, it's me, Lucy. And Lucy, you sound really upset. Yeah, and I took a bunch of pills. True story. I took a bunch of pills. You were so helpful to me, and I just wanted you to be the last voice I ever heard. Thank you. Bye. Click. Holy schmoly. What? Whoa, Lucy. Oh, yeah, I remember the borderline hospitalization, punk rocker, tattoos, earrings, all that. Really creative. It all just immediately, I know exactly who Lucy is. Lucy? Oh, that's called a dial tone. You're not familiar with those things. Dial tone. Oh my God. Oh, I know. I'll call the operator. It's called a rotary phone. Smithsonian has them. Hi, operator. Just had this collect call. Can you trace the line, Sacramento? Sir, this isn't Dragnet TV. You can't trace calls like that. Oh, God. Rest of the night. Here's Yanon. I wonder if she really did. I went, oh my God. Okay? She is feeling helpless, hopeless, scared, angry, pained, right? When she makes that phone call, she's feeling all kinds of things. I'm feeling la 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 ding. And within 38 seconds, I'm feeling helpless. Shit, I don't know how to help her now. Hopeless, kind of like, God, I thought we did some good work. Obviously it didn't work. Holy shit, scared, oh my God, upset, down, kind of pissed. Jesus, dump it on me, thank you so very much. Do you see what a perfect shift that is? It's perfect. It's called a virus. Ching. All intimate relationships involve shifting. Oh, we shift the whole time. Is this my feeling? You're feeling what? Parental alienation syndrome. It's not a syndrome, don't call it that. And it's actually child alienation. It really involves a shift of parent A's feeling about parent B. Parent A's mad at parent B. Parent A feels helpless. Parent A feels rejected by a whole bunch of feelings about parent. Keep peeking here, right in the line of sight. We're going to shift. Or maybe some in the back. They think they can get away with this. It's okay. It's not going to be bad. I'm not going to yell, I promise. So what they do is, right, they hate them. They feel they can't connect with them. They get the kid to behave towards that parent so that that parent ends up feeling unloved. I can't connect with you. I can't impact you. I'm alone. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm wrong. This isn't fair. A whole bunch of things. That's really parent A's feelings. And they shifted them to parent B through the child. Am I making sort of some sense?
That's so weird that you bring that up because you're pointing to this. We, in our group's provision yesterday, we were talking about a child that's dealing with that very same thing.
Right. Perfect. No, alienation is very real. Basically, the punishment doesn't match the crime. I'm going to be a little tangential, but I'll give you this little piece and we'll come back here. Are we on time? Well, we're going to take a break very soon. Girl comes, she's a 9-year-old. Father's been a good dad. He really has. Mom hates, loathes him. Loathes him. So the child has nothing to do with it. Now they call it reunification therapy. They hire us to do this. The hardest type of therapy. Oh my God. Because the child is very invested in not changing. Because it would be a betrayal of the more vulnerable parent. Whoa, I see how you hate dad. Dad seems to put up with me no matter what. I can spit in his face and he still says, I love you, I'm here for you. Or mom, but it usually isn't. Mom hates dad. Oh my God, if I betray her, she's going to hate me like that. Oh, this is simple. I'll just stay with her. So this little girl was very mad at his dad. I said, what were you mad at? He ate the last 2 cookies on our visit. Did I tell you this? I told somebody this recently. He ate the last 2 Oreos on my visit. Oh. What would you like? There's a, He says, I'm so sorry, you're absolutely right. You ate the whole row before that, by the way. You ate 8 of them, then I ate the 2. But that's okay, I'm sorry. What would you like? I want a new box. This guy brought a case of Oreos, not sarcastically, sardonically. He really was like, honey, okay. He didn't even tell her that. Next session, he comes with a case of Oreos. Doc, you want one? No, it's okay. You think for 1 minute that was a reparation? Oh my God. It got so bad he finally said, he wrote an incredible letter. It takes 2 to create a vice grip. As soon as one doesn't do it anymore, there's no vice grip. I love you, I will love you forever and a day. To the moon and back, to the sun and stars and back. I'm not going to put you through this anymore. I see how much pain this causes you. So I'm not going to come anymore. Anytime, in any way you ever want to make any contact with me, I am here. And he left. That was amazing. So shifting is everywhere. Okay, just be aware of it. So we're going to finish this one little section, then we'll take a break. So parents shift a variety of states. One, of course, is the wounded child. I was wounded, I was a child, says the parent. They were, abused in whatever way. As you very well know, most people who are abused do not abuse their kids. However, of that population who abuses their kids is a high percentage who have been abused. Claro? They're shifting. If we took a psychotranscript of them at 5, it'd be, I feel scared, I feel angry, I feel scared of being angry, I feel hurt, I feel all that stuff. Now we take a psychotranscript of the kid currently vis-a-vis how the parent treats them. And it's the exact same script. I feel scared, I feel angry, I feel scared about being angry, I feel hurt, I feel lost, alone, blah, 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 all that stuff. They just shifted it, okay? The idealized child. You be the perfect child, such that if I was that child when I was a kid, then I would have been loved. Stage moms or whatever. The rebellious child. There's going to be a wonderful tape you're going to see when we get to the filial therapy section. Eston and Jake. I think it's Jake. You're going to hate Eston in the beginning. You're going to love him at the end. And Jake is such a rebel. Well, you carry out, pardon me, the fuck you to me that I wish I could have said to my dad or my mom or whoever. Kind of the policeman's kid who's a delinquent maybe, or the minister's kid who's a rebel, whatever. It's a rebellious child. You carry out mine. Now, a little bit different but similar, parentalized child. In alcoholic systems, you can almost do diagnoses. This is the idealized child, eating disorder or whatever, perhaps maybe, wounded child, depression, alcoholism, this kind of stuff. Actually, parentalized child are in alcohol systems. They will be the codependents, perhaps, oversimplifying by far. Rebellious child, conduct disorder, oversimplifying. This is neurology, there's all kinds of factors involved. But parentalized child, you take care of me the way I wish I was taken care of. Shifting states. Become aware of it. Become aware of how you shift, how your partners shift. We're all doing it. Okay? This is a very positive. Before the question, let me also be clear. There's a very positive part of shifting. Oh, by the way, the fancy word for this is projective identification. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, like introjection and
right.
identification and displacement.
Exactly, because who shifts a lot? Borderlines, narcissists. You work with a borderline, and oh my God, within 3.8 seconds, I'm the greatest therapist. Oh my God, I should have stuck with bowling week. No, I really am a savior. It's unbelievable. Same with a narcissist. And of course, Kohut, Kernberg, these people, names will refer to time, that's who the population they worked with. And they were ego-centric, whatever, enough to go, wait a minute, this isn't me, it's them. I'm feeling world's greatest, and I'm feeling, this must be them. Oh, I know, I'm identifying with the projection they're putting on me. I had a classic narcissist, never forget. He came, of course, when he was wounded by narcissistic injury, a woman who left him, couldn't believe it. So he comes, then he's fine, reconstitutes, I didn't see him for months. Comes back. Perfect. Doc, you still got that same couch, huh? You should raise your fees. Man, the whole session, I'm looking at that couch, I'm thinking, yeah, it is kind of shabby. Maybe yeah, you know, God, what does that say? Oh, it was unbelievable, it's so fucking perfect. It's a perfect shift. Of course he's feeling insecure, of course it's narcissism's a compensatory sense of inadequacy, you know, all that stuff, you know those dynamics. But it was so brilliant, because it's such a little thing, and then when so flippant, he sits down, he's talking away, just thinking about the couch. Not literally, but almost. And of course, if you try to make a process comment, a meta comment, you know, I noticed when you came in, not a big deal, but it's interesting, you made a little comment about the couch, you know, it's a little shabby. I'm wondering if in some way you feel, in some sense, maybe put down, or what would he have said to me? Doc, dude, I think you're feeling a little oversensitive. I think your sensitivity quotient, I think you said something about that, a little high. Maybe you ought to see somebody about that, okay, Doc? It's just a guy, it's okay. I look like an idiot! I just got obsessed about it for a while. Eventually I did get the couch recovered. A long time later. But you see, that just, oh my God, narcissists will shift. And so what population will shift? Never mind those diagnoses. What developmental stage is the brilliant at shifting? Oh my God, will they shift on you? You will love them and hate them. You betcha. Teenagers are also known as adolescents. Shifting all the time, constantly. I've never been able to tell anybody this. Wow, you're just a really great therapist. Can you just write that to Alliant? They should just give me my PhD now. In fact, write the licensing board. I'm ready. Come on, I don't have to go through all that. I'm fantastic. What happens the next time? Oh, they don't show for the appointment. In fact, they don't want to come and see you anymore. What? Really? But I thought we were so connected. It's called a fragile alliance. Teenagers shift all the time. Okay? Okay. I know you're tired now. I know you're ready for a break. Go take a break. Please come back by 10. A hush goes over the crowd. So there's a genome, CHRM2, sounds like charm 2, that relates to how neurobiologically sensitive we respond to our environment. Kids that are high in that do very well, as you might imagine, in positive environments. And they do not well in negative environments. So obviously there's, and we already knew this, a neurobiological basis to this. There are infants, and it has nothing to do again with intelligence, that you just touch their little pumpkin toes and they go, wah! In others, you can go dunk, and they don't respond much. And there's differences, cultural differences in that, by the way. Asian babies tend not, and they're very intelligent, not to respond as much. So know that. A couple more on shifting. I'm in Southwood. Again, it's that adolescent unit. I'm just coming on board. I'm walking through the door and I see this young man coming down with those altered state eyes and the staff behind him. And it's me and the door, and he obviously wants to come out of the door. And I'm obviously blocking his way. I had taken a different form of karate at that time, and I was already thinking, wax on, wax off, wax on. Because this kid looks like he was very determined to get to the outside of that door, and I'm in his way. I'm impeding his movement. He comes up to me. He was about this high, actually. I was taller than him. But that rage, he lifts a Volkswagen, looks at me. I remember I was right by a fire alarm thing. And of course he says, get the fuck out of my way or I'm going to punch your fucking lights out. Get out of my way. And before I could even say, I hear, and he looks to the wind up, things start to go slow-mo, and he goes, and he smashes, thank you, not my face, thank you, prefrontal cortex that decided not to hit me, but to hit the fire alarm thing. And as I kind of reflexively go down to my knees, kind of in slow motion, I'm thinking, janitorial staff should look at that, because the fire alarm isn't going off. I get down to my knees, I look up at him, and I say, very quietly, look, I know you're really, really angry right now, but I'm wondering, what are you scared about? Because I came in here feeling just fine, and I'm scared shitless right now. What are you scared about? And he actually said, I'm scared my grandma's going to die, and I'm not going to have my pass for the weekend, so fuck you all. And turned around and walked back to his room. You can help people own their shift by acknowledging it within yourself and then asking them, I'm wondering if. Like when I did that little faux play role as the therapist to, what was his name? Doug? I'm wondering if there was a time when you felt. It would have done no good, as you can well imagine. And unfortunately, this used to happen to drive me crazy. To escalate with him. You're not getting out of here. I'm going to, oh God, he would have punched my lights out. And the temptation, if you own the shift, would be to do just that. Now I'm mad. Now I'm going to... But I realized that what I'm really feeling is fear. And I'm going to contra his loudness with whispering. I'm going to whisper right now. And I'm going to ask him about his fear. And I'm going to say it. This sounds like a really strange question. I'm going to acknowledge his anger. By the way, it does no good to say, so what are you mad about? Oh my God. He would have given me it just would have escalated his anger. I'm mad about the food. I'm mad about blah, 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 this. What are you afraid of? I don't say it always works. It worked in that case. Okay? Let me give you a really simple one. I keep using this light one. Well, now you're in the front of the line, right? It's a red light. You're listening to your music. You don't say whatever. And the light changes. You didn't notice. Nerd! Whoa! The person behind you honks at you. State A, you're happy, you're listening to music. State micro B, you're scared for a moment. C, you're pissed. Fuck you. Come on, man, the light just changed. Perfect shift. Their state A is, we're fine, I'm hitting the screen light. Hey, they're not moving. Parentheses, it's not fair, right? Parentheses, I'm predicting now it's time to move. I want to be the causative agent of my existence. You're interfering with that. Fuck you, beep, beep, beep. And by the way, once you're mad, they're happy, like. It happens all the time. Elfie Brothers song, way before your time. He goes, obsessed with me. Thank you, Mother Earth, or there you go, Mother Earth. As if it really makes any difference. Now let me give you a really sweet shift. Oh, pumpkin, I know you're so upset. Okay? Mom, caregiver, dad, whomever, is feeling fine. Infant office doesn't for a moment. For a second, you're not feeling fine. And then you go. And then infant goes. If you're lucky. It's called resonance. We'll get into all that in another spiel. Okay. Talk more about shifts. Talk about this genome here. I think we're ready to go to this. So obviously this, all of this, increases your sense of being vulnerable, being wounded, whatever. Okay? So now we're going to go to this, in a sense, assuages, abates, take care of this. The good news is these two things you already know. C is comfort, which of course is warmth, which of course is being a psychoanthropologist, but of course is value and validate, all that stuff. Remember, you have to reflect to connect before you direct. Always connect first and keep reconnecting. So this is connection, this is comfort. It helps us. We need, and this is one of the main roles of therapy, never mind human relations. We need a witness to our truths. And a lot of your roles as a therapist is just to be a witness to that person's truth and let them know that you really heard their truth. And there's something enormously comforting about that, because then we don't feel so alone in our aloneness. You don't know how much more these little bones can carry. In that moment, he felt like, but I have somebody else to help me carry this. Oh, I'm not alone in my aloneness. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what that means to me. So R is respect, which of course really means fair, explicated, window in the door, under what conditions would I say yes, limits. That's respect. When you move that into that domain of ownership that should be eternally expanding and basically based on, as long as you're taking good care of yourself, you can do whatever you want. Carl, yeah, I guess going to LA and carrying out your band dream is taking loving, responsible care of yourself, so you can do it and I will help pay for it. Whew. Brave Tom Rusk. Takes enormous courage, as I would say, to live out that truth. So that's respect. When you cross over a domain, that's being disrespectful. You allow your kid to steal from you and cross into your domain, that's being disrespectful to the child. To allow him to be disrespectful to you, because your job is to help them take loving, responsible, or her, loving, responsible, respectful care of themselves. And when you're not doing that, you're being disrespectful to the child, never mind to yourself. You get this? Really important. Being respectful. Again, punishment is power over spirit through pain in service of control, which is basically seen as dominance. So it's felt to be very disrespectful, ergo not fair. Okay. Therefore they won't Punishment, at best, you get compliance. Through respect, you get influence. You'll follow what your dad or mom's dreams are to the extent that you felt respected by them. Their values, their goals, their worldviews, you will internalize them if you felt respected by them. And you'll amalgamate them as part of yourself. Those little edges, the little Pac-Man that define the self, that box the illusion of self, that will be internalized by your parents' parts if you feel both comforted, acknowledged, and respected by them. SF. Who was it that wanted a big word? I think it was, who was that last time? They were disappointed. They were ready for a big term. Sorry, it's not a big term. Spunk factor. Spunk. Grit. It's one of those characteristics. Of course it has a neurobiological component to it. You know, Navy SEALs, the ones who are really good, have a genome, a little different genome, that has it so that they get calmer the more intense the situation is. They de-amygdalate. They don't amygdalate, they de-amygdalate. You know the horrible thing where they shove them into a pool, handcuffed and leg cuffed? Oh my God, I'm just saying that. My cortisol's soaring. The good ones, they don't know ahead of time. They're not told how to get out of it, what to do with it. Your reflex is right up. Terrible strategy. Burning up oxygen's not going to work. Terrible strategy. You better be really calm, really mellow. And if you do that, what you discover is you're holding your breath. Now at your bottom of the pool. Oh, okay, I can push myself up. Oh, the pool's just the right depth, so now press another breath of air. I could do this all week. The only way you're going to discover that if you're really calm. Glory divine, my sweet wife, the heavier the situation, the calmer she is. She's news, man. She's like, SWATs and all that shit. Woo, 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 racing deadlines. It's amazing. So we missed the flight out of Jerusalem when I was courting her. Try to get out of Tel Aviv. Actually, I'm sorry, we were in Tel Aviv. Try to get out of Tel Aviv in August. Fat fucking chance. There's no way. Oh my God. She goes on problem-solving mode because she had to be back on Monday. Unbelievable, all the different things she did. But she did have me line up all the baggage as if we're going to go, even though she knew we missed the plane. She says, I don't care. I need you to line up all the baggage. I need to feel like it's organized and ready to go. And then she found one airline that had 2 seats left, Tower Air, rabbinical airline, all rabbis, except the 2 of us. This Irish Catholic wakes up in the morning and she's tasting the salmon, and she goes, God, this is strange tasting ham. I'm surprised the plane just goes, whoa, what? Unbelievably calm. And the more calmer, if she's really calm, you better be worried because something really awful is happening. Spunk Factory. It was a wonderful Swedish movie, yeah. Sorry if I'm offending any Swedish person. Called My Life as a Dog. Kid has a mom dying of tuberculosis. Eventually dies in the movie. And tremendous spunk factor. Hey, the glass is 100th full. He always compared his life to, the dog's name was Lorca. I'm not sure. It was the Sputnik dog. I actually remember the picture in the paper, way before even the Beatles came, that this little dog in the Sputnik, Russia was the first to put a living creature, it was a little dog. And he actually looked in the portal, the window. Well, that's sweet, that's cute, but wait a minute, let's think about this a second, because this kid thought it through. Oh, okay, so 15 minutes of fame or whatever, but then guess what? Oh, we run out of water. Oh, we run out of food. And they don't communicate. They didn't say, puppy, it's totally alone, dying a horrible death. And he always said, well, at least I'm not dying in a Sputnik totally alone without food and water, painfully dying. Wow. So Seligman wrote a book called The Optimistic Child. Because he looked at, and Seligman, father of positive psychology, he looks at the dimensions of positive thinking kids, cognitive behavioral approach in that sense. And what it is, as you know, a pessimistic kid strikes out. Personalizes it. It's my fault. Globalizes it. Amygdalating. I always strike out. Overgeneralizes it. In fact, I suck at everything. Classic pessimistic thinking. As you well know, optimistic child strikes out. Externalizes the blame. The ref called it wrong, or, really good pitcher. Specifies it. This is prefrontal. Right now, in this situation, I happen to strike out for whatever reason. But, overall, I'm a really good athlete. Pessimistic child hits the ball. Does exactly the opposite. Must have been a bad pitcher. I just got lucky. This never happens. Just weird. Optimistic child is exactly the opposite. I'm a good hitter. This is typical. And I'm bitching. It's just a whole different mindset. To varying degrees, you can teach it. Because remember this really important principle. We have all those different parts of us. There's the optimist part, the pessimist part. It's who's in charge. Who do we affect and bring up? Okay? Spunk factor. By the way, 2.9, which is really important in terms of helping kids and everybody be positive. So you do the following research. They had people keep a log of what they say to themselves. They looked at couples and looked at what they say to each other. And they looked at work environments and what people say to each other. In those environments when people feel positive about self, couples feel positive, work environment, good morale, there was at least 2.9 as many positive comments as neutral and negative. Some have said 5 times, but the research I saw was 2.9. So basically, say to yourself, your partner, your kid, and your work colleagues, your peers, at least 3 times as many positive things as neutral and negative. Okay? How hard is this? Rarely happens. Okay. Let me give you one other thing that's important to be, I believe. I haven't really read this, but I know it. I do it. It was really clear to me. We need to be, along with psychoanthropologists of the soul, we need to be tradeologists. Because back to the fact that we want our kids to be kind, caring, sensitive, courageous, and all that other stuff, and back to the fact that they're doing it right now, you need to be aware of that, and you need to highlight that. As a matter of fact, strive, when you're amygdalating, to underscore the trait that underlies the behavior you hate. I'm not going to school. I don't care what you do. Wow. I got to tell you, I can see how mad you are and all that stuff. I love how clear you are about what you want and don't want. And I love how strong you can express what's important to you. Nobody is going to push you around in life. Quote. And that will serve you well in life. I use that tag all the time. Use that tag in therapy. And that'll serve you really well in life. And that'll serve you really well in life. What are you doing right now? That's most of you, I think, or else you're faking it really well. That's really a great trait that got you here. You're attending. That's a big deal, as you well know. Really tangential. ADD is misnamed. It's not attention deficit disorder. It's interest deficit disorder. It's a dopamine issue. And if your baseline of dopamine is a bit low, you're not going to stay interested very long unless it's something that's extremely compelling to you, like video games. So the paradox is, well, no, he attends the video games. Right, because he's interested. The dopamine is the longing interest, right? And that's why the whole thing about, I don't get why stimulants, here's this hyper kid, why give them stimulants? Because it raises their dopamine. So now their baseline is high enough that they can listen to somebody who's talking about something that isn't immediately compelling to them. You're showing a very useful trait, and that's the ability to focus and attend and listen, or at least look like you are. Okay? Be a tradeologist and start noticing that. Start noticing kindness, start noticing courage, start noticing, I'll say this all the time, in play. Boy, you watch play. You put your heart and soul into it, and that'll serve you well in life. You have a great ability just to feel joy. Because kids will giggle, You just say, wow, God, you have this fabulous ability just to experience joy in the smallest thing. They'll bite that and go, I go, wow, man, your taste buds are just doing somersaults. You have a wonderful ability just to appreciate the littlest thing that will serve you so well in life. Start being aware of that. Start being a tradeologist. It's happening all the time. And we just, especially when we get amygdalated now, well, it's like, wait a minute, back up. Marine colonel. Perfectly trimmed mustache. Perfectly pleated pants. Whatever. Yeah, okay. 15-year-old teen. Has a nose, diamond thing, stud. Drives his dad fucking crazy. If he had any respect for me, he would take that nose thing out. He knows it bugs me. He knows I hate it. And he wears it right in front of me. Now, you can do the shifter, you can do a lot of different things you can do, but one of the things you can say, among others, is, it's interesting. You, sir, and you call him sir. You don't call him Bob or Dog, or you call him sir. You are, you're a man of principle. I'm being presumptuous, I could be wrong, but it seems to be very clear. You're a man of principle, of beliefs. You would die for this country. Your beliefs about freedom and democracy are treasures, and thank you, sir. I mean, I'm sure you've served your country well. I mean, it's amazing. You're a man of principles. Furthermore, sir, I gotta tell you, you're pretty intimidating. I bet you don't get much guff in the world from colleagues and your underlings and probably your wife, and it just amazes me as I kind of look at this and think, the only other person, at least in this room, that has as much principle as you do is your son. And he has got that, you are a courageous man, he's got the courage to throw his principles in your face. It amazes me that he's gotten that gift from you. That sense of, I know what I believe in, and I don't care who it is or what it is that tells me different, I'm going to stand. And the irony is, you know what the symbol of that spunk that he's gotten from you, that sense of principle, that sense of courage? The nose diamond! Isn't that ironic? So who's going to go, is the kid first going to go, oh fuck, you kidding me? This time, Dad, I'm getting this out of my nose. Or does he go, well, does that come in red, white, and blue? We might be able to work something out here. Tradeologist. Forget the content. Look at the form. This guy's unbelievably spunky. Yay, shag daddy. But he's spunky. So spunky that he'll wear this in front of his dad. Oh my God. That takes courage and spunk. And where'd he get it from? His dad. It's a great thing to say, by the way, in group therapy, dealing with teens, and two of them are fighting. You kind of go out, isn't that an amazing group? There's something that's so similar about the two of them. We all know it. Even if you don't know what it is, by the way, just throw it out there. And they'll come up with great stuff. Yeah, they're both funny there, they're both stuff there, they're both... Come on, little group hug here. Come on. You guys are just alike. You get the idea of this. Tradeologist. Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I need your courageous part to come out, the little courageous one. I need two caregivers, two parents. Mom, dad, 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 mom, mom, I don't care. And I need a kid. Up here. Somebody volunteer to be the kid, because that's going to be the easiest part. Come on up, little pumpkin. You get to pick your name, whatever you would like. Yay for your spunky spirit that you want to name yourself. What name do you want to have?
Chloe.
You are Chloe. You are about 6 years old.
Okay.
Beautiful. Pick your parents.
Oh, really?
Ah, they say we pick our parents. I have a little cosmic experience. We go, I want those guys. Zunk.
Does anybody want to do it?
Oh, look at that. What a nice kid. Giving you choices. I guess that was a
It'll
no.
be easy, I promise.
It'd be easy, right.
Me?
I'll do it.
Very good. Come on up. So wait, so perfect. So then you get to pick your spouse. Perfect. Perfect. Now, let me be very, 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 very clear. Whatever happens in the next arduous 3 minutes or 5 minutes does not in any way determine your value as a human being, your competence as a clinician, anything like that, no matter what happens up here, okay? What it does underscore is your courage and bravery and spunk to take on a challenge, which will, should we say this all together, serve you well in life. Thank you. Okay? So come on up. So here's the situation. Chloe, right? Mm-hmm. Your lovely, adorable 6-year-old Chloe was a real spunkmeister.
Oh, are we sitting there?
No, you'll probably be standing. You'll decide. But I just want to tell you the scene.
Okay.
Congratulations, 10 years together. Yes, 10-year anniversary. Yes, indeed. You've got reservations at, what's your favorite restaurant?
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. You got your favorite table there. They're so happy to see you. You ran a limo that's going to take you after that to, a play at Balboa Park or whatever. What do you want? What would you want to do? Oh, no wonder they've been together 10 years, huh? Here's to the next 10. I mean, okay? You're kidding? They're going to go without you. No way. What? No.
It was actually my parents' anniversary yesterday.
Oh, go figure. Did you let him go out? No, not without me. Okay. So now they do line up your favorite babysitter, all kinds of stuff. Okay.
I don't like her anymore.
Not now. You're amygdalating, so you don't like anything. Remember, negative network, right? Associated network of negativity. I don't like her, I never did, and don't like any babies. Blah, 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 blah. Totally amygdalated. Okay. Connect. You reflect to connect before you direct. Okay, so don't start out with, but you always liked that babysitter. Because what is she going to say? No, I didn't. I always hated her. You know that, so don't say that. Connect. Amplified empathy. Psychoanthropologist of the soul. You're going to do it imperfectly, and that's okay. You're just as valuable. Go! Oh, I love that. Do you want to go first? No, you go first.
Well, should we wait for Chloe to...
No, because you're going to have to tell her you're going.
We'll just tell her we're going.
Yeah, in fairness, you have prepped her a bit. She knows that it's your anniversary. Let's even say she gets you a little breakfast and something. So there's not like total surprise, oh, by the way, we're going tonight. And you're like, what? She's been prepped. You're good parents. You helped her predict.
Happy anniversary. I'm so happy you guys got married.
How old are you?
She's 6.
6. Okay.
Right. You feel so connected by your mom. Doesn't even know what age you are. For God's sakes, Mom. I feel so unseen, so unheard. You don't even know how old I am. God, I'm Chloe. That's with a CH. Is it CHLOE? Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so Chloe, your mom and I, have decided that we're going to go out to dinner tonight to celebrate.
Perfect. I'm so hungry. Let's go.
Oh, you're hungry? So we're actually going to go just the 2 of us this time.
That's sad.
I'm sorry you can't come.
I got to tell you, footnote, in all the years I've done that, no kid has ever done what you just did. That was fantastic. Boy, talk about lateral thinking. Wow. Never had anybody do that.
So it's actually just going to be us. We're going to go, and I know, it must be hard to hear that because I know you want to spend time with us, but we're going to go just the 2 of us. Chloe?
Keep mirroring how she's feeling. You can step in too. Let the mom. Honey pumpkin.
I don't get it. Well, I'm sure you probably feel like we're leaving you behind, but this is something special we wanted to do to celebrate our
Are we gonna be
relationship.
leaving?
Just for the night, we're gonna go
I'm
out.
staying home.
Yeah.
So you are leaving me behind a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm sure you probably feel like we're just abandoning you for the night, but we're not. We're setting
What
you
does
up.
that mean?
Well, honey, how do you want to explain it?
Well, what it means is what you just said. We're gonna leave you alone for the night with your
Forever?
parents. No, just the night. And we're gonna spend time alone. You know how sometimes, Chloe, you and me like to go out for ice cream, just you and me?
So why can't we do that this time?
Well, because tonight, just like what you said, we're gonna celebrate our relationship as your parents. And
We're
we're,
my parents.
yeah,
We are,
we're-
yes.
We are. And so what we're gonna do is celebrate that tonight, and then as a family, we can celebrate all together tomorrow.
I don't like it.
I know
I don't like it at all.
What
Yeah.
about it don't you like? I want
Tell her what she doesn't like. Instead of asking the question, which is many times really fine, but right now, tell her what I totally get, honey, why you don't like it. Now add. I totally get why you don't like it.
I totally get why you don't like it. You probably think that, we're gonna have fun without you and that doesn't be included.
Because you are.
Well, we are, but
And I can see how mad that makes you, honey pumpkin, and I see how helpless you feel. You got to amplify the empathy. Yeah, and it's okay, you're doing a really good job, but a lot of things what we do, and all of us do this, will make,
No.
sorry? Well, you'll see, if they can, see, when it's, even though this is all fun, it's fun of all these, oh my God, there's a yes, you are really feeling it. And if they can reach you, even though this is all faux, it'll change, because it's real. So what you have to say is, pumpkin, I see I'm not reaching you. And you got to come up close, you got to say, honey, pumpkin, and you got to get lower than the kid. You know the birds hate being lower than us? Most animals do. Kids do. Get lower than the kid. A lot of times I'm lying on the ground with the kid, literally, so they can finally be higher than me. Get lower, because you're being dominant here, saying, we're leaving, you're staying, tough noogies. That's how she's hearing it. Yeah. I can even say, maybe you're hearing it like, we're leaving, you're staying, tough noogies. That must feel horrible inside, pumpkin. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry that you feel left and abandoned. Big word. Mm-hmm. I know. I totally get it. I really do. And if you really, really do, she gets that you get it. Guess what happens? The amygdala stops firing because she doesn't feel alone in her aloneness. Now she's in open. You're feeling different right now, it seems to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are. Mm-hmm. I get it. Have fun. Oh, honey. But here's the good news. Yeah. You getting this? Mm-hmm. Do you want to keep going or do you want to stop? We could stop.
We're good.
You good to stop or you want to keep going?
Oh, it's up to you.
okay.
Let's stop, because I want to do more on that end of it. Yes, okay, let's stop, and you stay for a sec. No, you go ahead. You go ahead back there, I think, yes. Good, absolutely applaud. You kidding me? How brave they are? How brave they are? Yeah, it's hard, it's trying. So, we could have gone on, and we will. I want to talk more about that. But I think it's better we do it this way, because I'm also concerned about time. So how was it? What'd you think? First you folks. First parents, then kid, and then all of us. And then we'll do more.
It was tough to imagine saying how Chloe felt instead of opening it up, because in therapy we try so hard not to put feelings and words in our
Oh, you've said something so important. I'm going to go way over here. Not next week, the following week, we will really start on, or maybe next week if we get there, on individual psychotherapy. Actually, and then we'll eventually get, a week after that, to humanistic. The singular hardest thing, I'll tell you right now, for you folks in this class, the singular hardest thing for you to learn in this class, in being with children, is to not ask questions. It's going to be the singular hardest thing for you when little pumpkins are up here and your directions are going to be, do not ask questions at all. Let me be also clear, nothing wrong with it. If you read Seligman's book, to get to up here, you want to ask questions. Absolutely, of course. I'm saying never ask a question of a kid. I'm saying when you are being with a child in child-directed play, when you are being with a child in this way, you do not ask questions. You reflect. If you are a mirror with heart, mirrors don't ask questions. They reflect back. But you said something very important. One of the reasons we have such a resistance to doing that is we feel it's presumptuous. How dare I? So you can say, this is really presumptuous of me. My sense is you felt so alone. You're like, oh my God. I don't ask her how she feels. Because, and it's not that it's wrong, but first of all, a 6-year-old, 5-year-old, she doesn't really know. She just feels bad. So I'm going to give her a vocabulary to put some so she understands. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to keep looking. And I get close, and I get in there. And say, pumpkin, holy shit. And even though I don't know you, within this role play, you allowed me into that space. If I just went over there right now and got that close, you're like, go away, perv, leave me alone. I'm going to file a complaint against you. Pardon me. No, you know what I mean? There's boundaries. But when we're in that role, you really felt like, so I get to be that, and I get close, physical. My God, you poor pumpkin, I get it. And I really do. I remember a time when I felt so, that whole thing. But I don't ask, I tell you. And I keep telling you more. And if I'm getting it wrong, I look at you and you're kind of going, oh, I got it wrong. Silly me. So let me try again. Now, you might then learn to say, well, I feel this and that and the other thing. In fact, that's the whole point. One of the things that happens in child-directed play is they start self-reflecting. I'm now going to put this over here. I really like putting it over there. They just start, you'll see it in one of the tapes, one of the little girls, she just starts going. You're teaching them to be, oh, guess what? Psychoanthropologists of their own souls. Duh. All this stuff I'm saying the parents should be doing to the kids is what we should be doing to ourselves. What we're helping the kid do to themselves. Okay? But you said a very important thing. The resistance, one is you're trained to ask questions. Just reflect, so how you feel about that? So what and that's great with adults with a lot of PFC. And it does get to be, it's not an accident that Solek's books call until we are 6. He says nobody knows how to talk to anybody past age 6. He makes these grandiose globalized statements. It's not really true, but it's harder. Pre-6 is easier in many ways because it's kind of out there. We get it, and we get to say that. So one is you're trained not to ask, to make comments, but the other is a presumptuousness. In here, with a little pumpkin, absolutely. Anything else on your end, please?
Being married, I didn't want us to bombard her with today. So when Jackie decided to take the lead, I thought, well, my nonverbals can be, so that's why I got lower, was there, and kind of more absent and quiet. So I was thinking, well, she's going to take the lead. I don't need to be trying to match her in language. I just need to be there supporting her. Yeah. So that's why it was a little different for me because usually, in an individual session, I have kind of more of the lead as far as conversation goes. But in this role, it's like, no, I just need to be showing.
That's cool.
What it looks like. So that was different for me too. Yeah.
Fair enough. Chloe, please, comments. How was it? What?
It was fun. It was at some point I felt like I should give in.
Oh, okay.
I felt that they were just they're being so nice about it.
Okay.
Typically, I don't know. I felt like I should say okay, that's fine. You guys can go ahead and go do that. But
okay.
I don't know. It was interesting.
Okay. Class, any immediate thoughts, feelings, fantasies, reactions as you watched? What seemed to work, not work, whatever. We're going to do a little more on it. I'll do a little more just to highlight. Yeah, it's okay if you don't. I know your middle's butterfly. Again, amplified empathy, and you stay with it. I can see you really upset about it. I totally get it. I use it totally get it because I really do. If I really get it, if I don't get it, I go, I don't quite get it, but I'm going to get there. Let me figure this. Okay. Of course you feel left alone, pumpkin. I totally get it. I like when you said, but remember sometimes, actually sometimes you have Harriet over, and you come in and you're like, go away. Just me and Harriet time. And that's wonderful. How you love that little special time. And sometimes you and I just do something together. And sometimes you and mom, or the mom do something together. And that's and that's cool. So right now, we are doing that little thing. Now, it's right now, as I'm looking at you, Chloe, you're like, okay, so I don't have to say anymore. If you were like, I'll say, I know, it doesn't seem the same. I know, I understand, even though you get this part. But usually when you do that, they kind of get it. They're kind of like, okay, yeah. You said a really important thing. Tomorrow, we will celebrate as a family. So tomorrow, you get to choose what we do. Because don't forget, what you've just done in the hierarchy, that's why I get below them, is I'm above you in the hierarchy. I'm making a decision for you. You're not in charge. So it's a little bit like the toothpaste. Foster autonomy. So you don't unfortunately get to be charged about this, though we're going to add a little bit more. But you certainly get to choose what we do tomorrow. And furthermore, let me write out right now a coupon for one special time with Mommy A, or Mommy whatever, or Mama, and then you will write a special coupon, more special than Mommy A's coupon, by the way, for special time with you, because in doing that little thing, now I've made you even more important. And I've done all kinds of things in that little thing. And kids are very concrete, and they'll grab onto that, and they'll say, go, go, go. Be concrete. Furthermore, do you want to know where we go? That was a question, because you may or may want to know. Yeah, I want to know. We're going to so-and-so restaurant. Should we Google Earth it so you can see exactly where we're going to be? We can do that if you want. This is called transitional objects in a way. We're going to kind of be there, not be there. So here, do you want me to draw it? I can draw the red, whatever. Now, we do have now, as you know, the eternal means of connection. Pumpkin, we both made an agreement, we're turning this off during dinner. We will turn it on at whatever, 7 o'clock, and we'll turn it on. So if you want to have a little contact, we can do that. Partial gratification, window in the door. We love you. By the way, she probably won't even call because she's going to be totally absorbed. But right now, she's like, yeah, can I call 15 times? Oh, whatever. Furthermore, we're going to be home about midnight 30. It looks like you're thinking, I'm going to stay up and be wide awake. That might be, that'd be okay. You could sleep in tomorrow. If you happen to be asleep, here comes a question. Do you want me to kiss you on your right cheek? Do you want me to kiss you on the left cheek? Do you want both of us to kiss you, one on each cheek, and on your nose and your forehead? That's up to you. You let us know. I want you to kiss me, and I want you to... Fantastic. We'll even leave the lipstick marks. So in the morning when you wake up, you look in the mirror, you're going to have lipstick marks all over your face. Because no matter where we are, we carry you in our hearts. Where do you feel our love for you in your body? Right here. Then you touch. And you as a parent would touch right there and say, absolutely, it's always right there. We could be in Timbuktu, which happens to be in Africa. They really exist. And our love is still in your heart, right there. Nighty-night. Oh, there's the babysitter. See how different you're feeling right now? You feel how different you're feeling? Totally warm and fuzzy. And we're out the door and you're like, go, go, because you're already thinking about, oh, I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and see all the lipstick all over me. Now that's where you're thinking. You're not thinking about I'm being left. But it's done through knowing who you are and knowing the world children live in. You're a psychoanthropologist of the soul of the child. And a simple little thing like we're just going out for dinner. Now, this takes just 1 second. Yeah, one other question. This takes an enormous amount of time. It takes an enormous amount of energy. It's much easier to say, hey, get over it, you like it, boom, they're gone, it's off. God, that is so much in a way easier. But it leaves them lonely, lost, empty, all kinds of things. This leaves them connected. Please.
I'm just wondering if eventually we'll cover situations where like the parents forgot to give them the kiss. In the morning they wake up and there's nothing there, like ruptures between.
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
Better make it up.
Yeah.
Say the least. No, that is the other thing. Actually, you bring up a really important point. When you make a commitment to a kid, I mean, and we'll get to this in a variety of ways, I will put it with the alarm on my phone. So because you cannot mess that up. I mean, you do, and you know, there's the rapprochement and all that, but that's a very important thing. Way back before all these things, my best friend Joe and his wife Sharon, you keep hearing a lot about, remember his birthday, November 3rd, there'll be a reason. So they had little Jessica Elizabeth, redhead spunkatizer, had never been away from them, and they're going on a trip. She's 2 years old. Off she goes. And we're going to, by the way, stop very soon because now it's 11:10 and I will hold to my commitment, otherwise it's disrespectful. So he goes, oh God, she's so spunky, she's going to freak out and whatever. So I said, well, all right, you're going to Hawaii, you're going to do several things. One is you're going to make a videotape of the three of you before you go that she can play any time. This is before Skyping and all. Now there's so many ways to connect. In those days it wasn't. So she can look at that video and see you. You are going to call her and you're going to tell her this. 9 a.m. every morning, 5 p.m. every afternoon. I don't care if you're getting tubed the pipeline. Oh, 5 o'clock, gotta go in. Consistent. So she knows. You're going to show her where Hawaii is. Again, before global Earth, that's good. But we had a map, postcard, all that stuff. So that it's transitions. We are still together even when we're apart. You can tell her, and I always ask the kid, kid gets A's and mom's proud. I'll say that's wonderful. And of course, mom loves you even if you got all F's. Right, mom? And mom's always going to say, oh, of course. Where in your heart do you feel, where in your body do you feel that? They almost always point to the part. Last week a kid did this and this. Both in my head and mine. And then tell him, it's in just touch there. That comes out of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. We'll also talk about that sometime. So you've got to follow through on your commitments. Otherwise you come back and say, find me. I can't, I'm so sorry that I didn't do what I said I was going to do. It makes you distrust me and I so apologize. And I know I have to do at least 3, show you that I'm going to do it, to undo the one that I didn't. I will totally own that. I can give you excuses, but that isn't what matters. What matters is how you feel about this. I'm here. Okay? Very good. Go out to the world, dining or whatevering. Psychoanthropologizing yourselves, most of all. Be a tradeologist. Keep track of that, okay? Track of that. Okay, enjoy. And who's writing the question again? You're writing the question. You're going to email it to me. Okay. Fantastic.